Hello and welcome everyone to season 3. I'm really excited to be kicking off the season with Thriving with Autism. I interviewed Aaron from Appleton, USA. He is an adult with autism and he attributes his success as an Elvis Presley tribute artist to his autism and his Asperger's. And he says these have allowed him to nail down the moves, and he describes to us what it was like growing up with autism, all the way to what it's like being in a workplace with autism. And he also talks about what it's like dating as someone on the autistic spectrum. So there's a lot to unpack in there, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But if I can get one key message across, is that people with autism have such exceptional skills, and I really hope we can provide ways to support them in the workplace, because 78% of adults with autism here in the UK do not have jobs. And while a lot of people who have autism are not able to hold a job, a lot of them want to and a lot of them can. And it goes to show, Aaron has shown us, that when you allow someone and support them to put themselves in the right environment, they can absolutely thrive. So I hope you enjoy this episode today. Hello and welcome, Aaron.
How are you?
I'm good. You look fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. I just threw something together.
Oh, is this one of the Elvis outfits?
No, this is just me not in sweatpants outfit.
Nice. I'm wearing my sweatpants.
How are you? That's okay.
Yeah.
It's seen above here. So.
Yeah, it's a party up top for sure.
Absolutely. Are we getting used to that these days? Aren't we getting used to it?
Comfort is king. I've started maybe going outside in my sweatpants, but maybe I need to not do that so much, but whatever.
Oh, that's right. We're in the era of DoorDash and Eat Street and don't leave your couch. So
yeah. Yes, thank you. I feel justified. How have you been? Would you tell everyone where you live?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I live in Appleton, Wisconsin, USA. I know if you don't know where that is, Green Bay Packers, just a little bit over. That's where it is. It
sounds adorable, by the way. Appleton, love it.
It is. It's the little apple. New York's the big apple.
Oh my God, stop. How big is it?
Gosh, Appleton, it's really small. I mean, compared to like Milwaukee and Chicago, it's quaint. It's a nice little town where it's big enough that it has everything, but small enough to where we don't get like the big crime like Chicago or a Milwaukee or a New York.
Nice. I'm a small town girl myself, so
I
like the small town vibes.
I do too. I'm a city guy at heart, but like I could never live in a big city, I don't think.
Why do you think that is?
Even as an entertainer touring and traveling, I don't know. I could vacation there, but I couldn't live there because like I just think things are too fast paced.
It's so true, because I live in London, and it's such a different pace. It almost feels like a merry-go-round. Like when I go back from Bermuda to here, I have to like jump on and brace myself. But yeah. So tell us a little bit. We're going to talk today about having autism and Asperger's. Would you mind if I read you off kind of like a definition that I found, and tell me if you relate to any of it?
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay, so for autism, I found it says people with autism find it hard to communicate and interact with other people, hard to understand how other people think or feel, find bright lights or loud noises overwhelming, stressful, or uncomfortable, maybe the city, get anxious or upset about unfamiliar situations and social events, take longer to understand information, do the same things over and over again. So that's what I found on autism. Do you relate to any of that?
I laughed a little bit just because when they said the whole lights thing, it's like, yep, I'm on stage, so there goes that logic.
So true.
But I would have to say the behavior over and over thing, I would have to say I can relate to that. Repetitive maybe behaviors and tendencies, I would have to say I can, yeah. I'd say most of that, and I get asked a lot or asked this a lot. I'd say most of that is for people who are maybe lower functioning.
What does that mean?
So, gosh, I'm so used to using it in a broad term. Less social.
Okay.
And needing more of kind of a structured setting. More like the typical headphones, having to be left alone, having to have a routine, not always, or not being as independent as a higher functioning individual with autism.
So versus Asperger's. So do you mind if I read those all?
No, you absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think they're very overlapping, by the way. So getting very anxious about social situations, finding it hard to make friends or preferring to be on your own, seeming blunt, rude, or not interested in what others are meaning to. Finding it hard
Relating to that in certain settings, I can totally relate to that one. I would say I'm not a cold-hearted jerk. I just lack that empathy piece from time to time.
Final two, by the way, are taking things very literally. So, for example, you may not understand sarcasm or phrases like break a leg. And finally, having having the same routine and getting very anxious if it changes. So let's unpack that.
The anxious if it changes, I would have to say that is 100% true for me when it comes to like a routine or like daily. I don't want to say like daily living, but like when I was working, you know, at my 9 to 5 job, obviously balancing an entertaining career. I haven't had coffee this morning. I really haven't. Was hard, but I'd say the routine part of, you know, getting up, taking the bus, going to work, going home, that was important once I got in that groove. And if like sometimes I'd have to like maybe like switch up the schedule where I worked or the time I worked, that it wouldn't always throw me through a loop once I was able to like try it. But for the first couple times it was like, you know, you're overthinking what's today going to be like, what's this job going to be like, you know, the whole, a lot of overthinking and stressors on those points. The humor and sarcasm thing. If I didn't have the mom that I had, I think I would agree with that. My mother was very salty and crass and dirty with her humor.
My kind of woman.
She was also a direct. She dispatched trucks, so she worked with truckers. So she had that kind of rough, you know, work with that type. So had I not had a mom that kind of had that comedian that when we were at parties and stuff, they'd be like, "Did your kid just say that?" And she's like, "Yep, that's my boy." You know, like I remember, I want to say I would have been like 9 or 10 years old. We just moved into the neighborhood. And this lady was taking her trash out. She was our neighbor across the way. And from a 6 or 7-year-old saying this, I said, "Hey, Jean, how the fuck are you?" Ah! And she's like, "I like you. I don't know why."
Oh my God.
If it wasn't for my mother, I don't think I would have. I think that's where I picked it up. Because obviously when you live in a house with your parents, you learn things. So it just came second nature for me to pick up on that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you find you use humor as well?
I do. Not always at the right times.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
I am a Elvis tribute artist.
Yes.
A lot of the difference between an Elvis tribute artist and an impersonator is the impersonator at times will make a joke, kind of a caricature out of Elvis Presley, where the tribute artist is paying a respectful an authentic tribute to him, costuming, stage-wise, songs, era. I've been doing that for about 4 years. Loved Elvis since I was a kid, but the 70s, 1970s is the era I really kind of dug, with the glitter and the capes and the bling and the excess, everything over the top. I loved that. And on stage, Elvis said off stage, he likes his clothes normal, but on stage, he wants them as flashy as he can get them. And for me, I just like playing with the clothing.
So how do you think for you, your autism and Asperger's has helped you with your career, with your Elvis, what do we call it?
Tributing, yeah. I like that. I actually like that better. I like that. It sounds classier.
Ooh.
I would have to say the OCD part, because I'm obsessing about Elvis, so I'm constantly, trying to perfect it and tweak it and mold it. I'd say probably the OCD.
Yeah.
I will say though, at a young age, I say my music teacher helped me, because I never had stage fright, but I would get really down on myself if I even messed up one line and it wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Are you like that now?
No, a little bit when I'm live, but if there's an issue with an amp or something, it's funny because people are like, your Elvis voice. I go from like this, if I have to like talk for a minute while they can situate stuff on stage, I go from like, thank you very much, to like, hey guys, so yesterday.
Wait, can we have a little bit of Elvis, please?
Absolutely, baby. You can have all of Elvis if you want. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. Yes, Elvis. Thank you. I will have everything I want.
Meet me after the show, baby. Yeah.
I love the hair flick as well. This is is that what you do on stage as well?
No, it's teased up and sprayed on stage. It's like big.
I really want to see one of your shows, please.
It's very sweaty. It's very sweaty. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the whole giving the scarves and giving the ladies kisses anymore, because with COVID, that used to be you get the scarf and it's funny because I had a lady in Memphis run up on stage, and she was from the United Kingdom. They came, interesting dressers. They were both in like leather pants and a dress shirt, and she had like this leather skirt thing with like cute little chunky boots on. She was really cute. And she came up on stage and she tried to take my belt off.
What did you do?
Well, it was one of my bigger 24 karat gold belts. It's huge. It's big. And it's a replica of the actual one he wore. I said, if you get the guy in the eye, sorry about my wife. It was a while ago, but it was something like that. I was like kind of caught off guard because she was just so enthused. She was so happy and nice people, but I've just never gotten that before. That's sort of a like.
You're like, I prefer to keep my belt on, ladies.
I always like to be nice to people.
I think that's probably why you've been successful.
If it wasn't for COVID, yeah.
Can I just say that you're defying literally what these, box definitions are, because it doesn't sound like you have any trouble socializing, whereas that is kind of like what it reads in the definitions we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. There's things that I do struggle with that I see a counselor, which has helped immensely, both mentally and to just in the era of COVID right now. Mental health is a huge thing. I'm all for, watching mental health, checking in with your friends, that whole thing, because not only is it hard on the average person, but it's also hard on people with different abilities. So having a good support team absolutely helps.
Yeah.
100%. And it's so unfortunate that not a lot of people have that. I always say I was very blessed because, in my opinion, there's resources, but I wish there was just more for the less fortunate and for people who don't have that to get that.
Yeah. Do you
I
think
mean,
people
instead of
with like autism or Asperger's have struggled more during COVID with from a mental health perspective?
yes,
Why do you think that is?
absolutely. Well, I mean, for one, I would have to say that routine gets thrown off. So, you're kind of like, especially day to day wise or daily living, that kind of, whether it's a job, whether it's social piece, which is extremely important, whether it's routine, I think with that comes heightened anxiety. It enhances the what's next, over planning to like a whole nother level.
Yeah. So we've spoken a little bit about like the definitions, what it's been like for you with your work. What was it like having autism slash Asperger's when you were growing up, and when were you diagnosed?
Oh gosh, the diagnosis was when I can never remember because I was really young, but I was diagnosed at a young age. And in the early 2000s, there wasn't much advocacy for it like there is now because we have social media and there's technology. And at a young age, the difficult part was making friends, being bullied, and then trying to figure out what quality of life would be for me.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, so my parents were taking me to different therapists, trying to figure out, we want to make him a contributing member of society, but we also want to make him as independent as absolutely possible so he can, live on his own, have a job, pursue what he wants to pursue with minimal help, if that's warranted, needed. And I'd say the push for independence came from both my mom, my dad, and my sister, who is a brilliant, brilliant woman. I think she follows. My mom was probably one of the most brilliant people I ever met and the most patient and tolerable. But I would have to say my sister and father. When you have a child with a disability, I think not only is it stressful, but it builds up your patience. It really does. When you're hearing the same Elvis song for the 10th time on repeat, I think it builds up a level of tolerance. My sister and my father definitely wanted that because they knew I could do it.
Yeah.
Their thing was, we know what you're capable of. Don't limit yourself. Rely on yourself. And if you need help, that's okay. But you're capable of more. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
that. I love that. It
And
sounds like you have such a good family.
crazy, but good, crazy, good kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the education part for me, though, probably at a young age was the hardest for me, was education and being bullied.
What
That was my biggest struggle.
when you say education, would you find the actual learning of topics challenging as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It would have to be like repeated for it to sink in for me to finally understand it. I couldn't just skim a topic and all of a sudden like be ready for that test the next day.
Yeah. I had ADD growing up, and
I
for me
have
to
that too.
yeah.
I
Oh,
have a whole, I just didn't want to get confused. You I have a whole slew of
oh, you've got all the
bullshit.
letters.
I have
Let's hear it.
ADHD, I have OCD. Yeah, I have a bunch. I have a bunch.
I remember growing up, from a learning perspective, it is hard. And I think, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 26. I
So
always think about
I know it changes every year. It's hard to keep up, I mean, I'm also 26, so we grew up in the exact same generation. And I just feel like there just wasn't the support for learning difficulties. And I remember I was publicly shamed in class once when I was talking to a friend in the back, and a teacher went, "Jess, have you taken your meds today?"
ooh, girl, girl, if your parents were anything like mine, they would have sued the hell out of that school.
So did you experience anything like that from teachers, or were your teachers quite supportive?
They were supportive, but you can't teach a child with autism this way and then the same child this way because it's not going to work. You,
Yes.
individualized learning has more success than cookie cutter learning does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you mind if we talk a little bit about the bullying you experienced?
Absolutely.
Can you share with us what that was like and for how long?
Oh gosh, it was probably almost damn near my entire school time. I actually, I think, kids don't always understand, which is, you have to give the kids, I guess, in my opinion, the credit of not understanding, because they're only, what they learn at home and what the school's doing, if they're not punishing them, this, that, and the other thing. Hindsight's 2020. It's not their fault. But I would get lockered. I would get
What does that
pushed
mean?
down the stairs.
What
They
is
like grab you and they grab you and they like stick you in a locker and then they lock the locker.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Sorry, I'm so claustrophobic. That'd be the worst nightmare of my life.
There was a lot. I mean, I'm happy in the age of social media that it wasn't as advanced as it is now, where you could like record people doing stupid shit to people. I'm thankful for that.
Because you
But
wouldn't have wanted people to record it happening to you. Is that what you mean?
I would hate to have, I guess, it go viral, as they say.
Yeah. Oh my God. How do you think your bullying has impacted you today?
I mean, it's made me look at people as they're human beings, and human beings, whether you're gay, trans, straight, bi,
Woo!
black, white, it doesn't matter what you are. We all need love. We all need acceptance. And I think the killing with kindness thing,
Yeah.
be kind to one another. What does it cost to be kind to one another? It takes more effort to be a dick
Yeah.
than it does to just say, hey, hi. I mean, even on the road and on tour, when I'm in a hurry to be somewhere and I look like a mess without my makeup on and I'm just like coming out of the elevator, I still take that time to say hi or get a picture, because it's like, you don't want to be an unapproachable, standoffish, arrogant fuck.
Yeah. Don't want to be that queen. No thanks.
No, I don't, girl. No.
Would you mind if I ask you, how for you has Asperger's and autism impacted your dating life at all? And also, yes, okay, you go for it.
Yes. The social awkwardness is the most noticeable. And then there's I don't want to say lying, but there's like, for that first like couple weeks, you're putting on this like fake image because you don't want to like scare them off, so it's like,
Yeah.
there's that. On the contrary, I think it has also helped me realize that not everybody is going to be as understanding. I've had quite a few relationships in my time, not to implement that I'm a whore, because I'm not.
All right. Okay.
But I would have to say it's just difficult, because I think even in the social world as friends, nowadays I feel like this generation coming up has such high standards, like way higher than we did.
Yes, in a great way. Is that what you mean? Of being a nice person? Is that what you mean?
Being a nice person, but I also think there's more tolerance. And I think if you break the mold, you're not looked at as weird.
Yes.
Before I was like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. Whereas it's like nowadays everything is so celebrated. Like, for example, LGBT's been more accepted. We've had Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I just can't believe how far we've come since we've been in high school. Like, it's just incredible. Because we would have both graduated in 2012, right? I feel like so like that's about 9 years ago. I feel like we've come far in this last
You're
decade.
aging me. Now I'm going like, I'm wanting to wear like an I Love Boobies bracelet while listening to 303 and Justin Bieber.
If you get an I Love Boobies bracelet, can you get me one too?
Oh my God, I haven't seen those in forever.
I don't even know what they are.
They're like, remember, like, do you remember those rubber band silly bands people used to wear all the time?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
like, they had these ones that said "I love boobies" that they sold at like, I think it was like Spencer's and Hot Topic. That
Stop. I would have totally worn that.
it was wonderful. It was, the schools banned them, but they were for a good cause. It was for like breast cancer awareness.
Oh my God, I remember this. Oh my God. Whoa,
Yeah.
you just unpacked a part of my brain that's like, wow.
Don't forget your Heelys.
Oh my God, I had Heelys and I only just gave them away because I'm a big roller skater. So I've
You
always
should have
been like,
kept them. Those things will be worth money.
I know it was so silly to be honest, but oh, they were the best. When I was in an airport, just like, watch out, bitches. Like my
I
mom and
was
dad,
like the
like,
emo
Dad,
boy with the straight hair and the Osirises and the skinny jeans with like the shell necklaces.
Oh yes, I love that. Being an island girl, I definitely vibe with the shell necklace.
Do you?
Okay, wait,
Hate it.
really quick. Since we were talking about dating, have you ever watched the TV program Love on the Spectrum?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so do you know what it is? I mean,
I do not.
they match up people who are on the autism spectrum and they put them, it's like a dating TV show. It's honestly one of my favorite programs because so many people who are on there say they are so excited to be, you know, with a pool of people who are like-minded.
Make me feel
So
comfortable. Sure.
yeah, for you, would you want to date someone who's on the spectrum or
Yes, I would prefer that because I
yeah.
feel like it would be more relatable. You could understand each other's problems that way, and you're not like, "What is going on? You're
Yes.
crazy. You know, why are you flipping out?" I think there would be a little more understanding there for sure.
Yeah, so we're
Awesome.
gonna get you signed up and you're gonna remember me when you're on that show and you're gonna give me a little shout out, please.
And let's go.
One final question. Do you have any advice for someone who is on the autism spectrum, who is, you know, being bullied or is feeling socially uncomfortable with work? What advice would you give?
Don't let people put you in a box and don't think it's going to stay that way forever, because it's absolutely, you may feel alone at that time and you may be like, okay, this is how the rest of my life's going to be. I'm not going to have any friends. I'm going to be isolated. You know, what, that loneliness of it all. Don't ever give up, because you never know what's around the corner and what opportunities you have. You know, everybody says things are limitless. Don't limit yourself, and don't ever blame yourself either, because if you continue to blame yourself, you will block yourself from that growth. And you need to express all those feelings, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether it's joy. You need to go through that, because otherwise you can turn into a cliche of a person. And you know, vulnerability is absolutely okay. Cry when you need to, laugh when you need to, be vulnerable. Don't put on a facade, because eventually that can end up limiting your growth in the future, because you will never be able to become your authentic self.
Thank you so much, Erin. I've had so much fun having you on.
Absolutely. So
Where
much,
can
Jessica.
our listeners watch? Do you have anywhere recorded of your Elvis
I
tributing?
do. I do. I have my tributing.
You tributing?
So good. It sounds so good. On Facebook, Aaron Smith, Elvis Tribute Artist is my page on Facebook. And all my videos from some of my shows are on there. I post concert dates, tour dates, anything that's upcoming is on there. I actually am really excited because in August, I have my first full concert since COVID. So I'm very excited.
Oh, rock on. Where's it going to be?
It is going to be in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, at a place called Twisted Roots Tavern.
Ooh, all right, listeners, if you hear that, make your way down and don't try and take Elvis's belt off because he's not gonna appreciate that.
It's not that kind of show, folks. No,
Unfortunately, not that kind of show. Okay.
Darn it. PG-13.
Thank you
Darn it.
again.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye, Erin.
Bye, Jessica. Take care, guys.